Yeah, I can tell you why the Hangout is mute, because I'm an idiot and I had the mute button clicked on the Hangout, the Google Hangout. That's why it's mute. Thank you, Lucas. See, I've been ranting and raving. See, this is the problem with technology, very high tech stuff going on here. Like pushing the mute button before you get stuff started. Ugh. So this is going to be an interesting, 8 minutes worth of video for our YouTube fans. That'll be fun. I'll just chalk this one up to fun excitement of me getting this together. So, like I was saying, consultants, don't waste your time, because they're not gonna look. They're not gonna do it for you. You're gonna do it for you. You're gonna work hard. You're gonna get that hustle together. You're gonna go out of your mind and do all the great stuff, and you're gonna get it right because you're smart. You know what's wrong with your business. It's your business. You work on it all the time. And most importantly, there are tons of free books, tons of free sources online, tons of free information that you don't have to pay for something that someone wants to charge you for. I believe you pay professionals for what they do best. That's why I hire people to do good work. Hey, JP, what's going on? JP, prime example. JP does good work. JP writes good adventures. I've hired him in the past. I know he does good work. Do I consider him to be a consultant? No, because he actually knows what he's talking about. He's done the work. He understands it. I've had him work on stuff for me. Would I say consultant? No, he's done this stuff. Everything I've ever asked him to do, he's done it. It's not like I'm asking him to, hey, JP, why don't you do some minor surgery on me? Hey, JP, why don't you tell me about how I can I don't know, sell my house at a reasonable profit? Hey. Consultants, yes, Lucas, I totally agree. Consultants will never replace a mentor. For consultant, they're there for the money. They're mercenaries, which I don't have a problem with mercenaries. God knows, I love a good mercenary. But man, those guys aren't even mercenaries. They're just like they're snake oil salesmen, flim flam, man. So if you want to get involved with that, that's crazy. Oh, my nose is running. Still a little sick, as you can tell. So don't get involved with those guys. It's a bad scenario. It's a bad date just waiting to happen. You don't want that to even come up. I mean, good Lord. And there's a lot of people like doing that in the RPG industry, in the tabletop game industry. And I'm always like, why are so many people trying to be consultants? Look, anybody wants to hire a consultant, this is what you do first. You come by here, you watch all my transparency agendas, you watch every single one of them. If you think it's worth something, go and give me $1. Find like PayPal or do one of our Patreon things. Give us $1. Boom. There you go. $1. That's all it's going to cost you. If you think if all the stuff I've given you is worth $1, then you've got a good deal. And if you found something new, hey, it only costs you $1. There's my consulting fee. It's just like, holy cow, man. People they want people like to tell them what to do. It's like, people, do you know how much free information is available at your fingertips to be a better publisher, let alone just talking to other publishers? There are so many publishers on Facebook, on every social network that you can get in touch with them. Look, if anybody you want to get in touch with, especially on Twitter, that's a good way. You can find them. You can find them on Twitter, find them on Facebook. If you do it on Twitter, find a way to get them interested. Ask them a question, or find a way in. I believe in the 6 degrees of separation. I always have, and I always will. It's very easy to get people connected. All you got to do is find the right person to connect you to somebody else and know somebody else. Very much. Yes, Gary Ray is correct. Gary Ray says, nobody in the game trade has money for a consultant, which tells you something. Yes, I think that is 100% true. Gary, the problem is that many people are out there selling themselves as consultants. Let me consult with you. Let me tell you how to be a consultant. I don't believe in consultants. I don't believe in them. I never have, and I never will. If I was ever talking to others, since we're talking about retailers, which Gary popped in, if we were going to talk about consultants for retail, I know a couple guys that I'd turn to as consultants, and I would trust them. But here's the difference. The first guy I would turn to would be Tate. My buddy Tate Otadi owns Tate's Comics down here in South Florida. Tate has won the Eisner Award for stores. That means Tate is among, 1 out of 40 stores on the planet of the top notch of the 1% of the 1% stores to go into. And I've worked for Tate, so I know. In the area of retail, yes, I would go to Tate's to ask him a question about that. He knows about that. He knows about comic book stores. If I said, hey, Tate, tell me about a comic book store, what do I need to do? What do I need to do retail? Tate would give me all the information, and I'd walk away helpful. Now, in that instance, is Tate a consultant? Well, I didn't pay for anything. I just asked him a question. He gave me some stuff. So I mean, I guess he isn't a consultant. Would Tate charge for something like that? I don't think he would. See, that's another thing too. I think the people who are really good at consulting don't charge for it. They just do it naturally. They've always been doing it, so for them, it's not even like it's not like it's a job. You know, I love layout. I've done tons of layout. Layout for me is not even a thing. I just do it. I just do layout. I do it. I've been doing it since I was 22. You know, I'm going to be 46 in 2 weeks. So, dude, I've been up most of my life. Well, half my life. So, you know, do I do it? Yeah, I do it. It's part of who I am. So it's not even a question to question. So this just goes back to the whole consulting thing. And now that being said, when do I think a consultant might be important? Well, the person worked in the field you're going into. ICB2, see, I just thought about this off the top of my head. ICB2 is a website. If you're a comic book guy or for retail, you might read it. Some people never heard of it before. I'm putting it in the notes here, so don't worry. It's in the notes down below, or really above. Above on Facebook, down below on YouTube. ICB2 is a news source that comes out for daily for just the gaming industry, comics, and whatever. It's very, very much it is the business of geek culture. And the person running it also ran Capital Distribution. If you don't know what Capital Distribution is, you're probably, good Lord, I just realized that you're probably younger than 25 years old. Wow, geez, it's been that long. A long time ago, there was a company called Capital City Distribution. Okay, let me bring this back to the olden days, and you guys will be amazed by this. Back in the early 80s to early 90s, there were three main distributors. There was Diamond, Capital City, and Heroes World. Roughly in 95, 94, something unusual happened. Something really, really amazingly unusually happened. And this kind of has set the tone that's been going on for the last 20 years. So during this time, Diamond, which was let's say the biggest, Diamond and Capital were basically battling it out, while Heroes World was like 40%, 35, and 20. And they're battling it out for the top spot, boom. Diamond does something ingenious and incredible. Diamond says, hey, we're going to sign DC Comics to an exclusive deal that we're going to be their sole distributor. Diamond becomes the sole distributor of DC. And that's like, ooh. So you got to remember, DC at this point is probably 40% of people's sales, if not maybe 45%. Heroes World does something even crazier. Marvel Comics buys out Heroes World and says, we're going to handle distribution ourselves, and we're not going to handle distributor. So you have Diamond takes 45% of the market, and Capital City takes another 45% of the market. And you see what happened to Lonely good Lord, Lonely Capital, who basically, that's what happened to them. They lost roughly 90% of their money that generated, and they were left with whatever's left over. And I mean, they fell apart so quickly. It was amazing. Capital City was around for a while. Martin was in charge of that, and it fell apart. I mean, after DC went there and Marvel did that, I mean, they imploded. And then Diamond acquired whatever spaces they had left over, and Diamond just got larger. And then roughly 9 months later, Marvel Comics had learned their lesson and realized that distribution is quite difficult, and you shouldn't try it on your own if you don't have a clue what you're doing, like they did. So they then said, we will sell Heroes World to Diamond, and Diamond will handle all their stuff, and they'll be our exclusive distributor. So Diamond, within we're not even talking 2 years. We're talking maybe 18 months, probably more like 12 months. Diamond collapsed, crippled, destroyed their main two competitors, and then took over as the largest distributor on the planet and the main sole guy. So if you are looking to get things put into stores, especially specialty stores, you had to go through Diamond. And that gave Diamond an immense amount of power. And Diamond, if you did not know, Diamond is owned by Steve Geppi. And if you're saying, who's Steve Geppi? See, people are saying who's Steve Geppi, aren't in retail, don't know anything about that. He's the guy who owns and started Diamond and made it this big success that it is. And it's also funny because Diamond is out of Baltimore, which of course, I spent some time in, so I have a very unusual relationship with that. I have had, I've been to the headquarters of Diamond. I've been there several times. It's one of those things like, wow, okay. And Diamond has done, Diamond for all the, okay, Diamond isn't the best, but it's not the worst. So let's just put it like that. Well, I wouldn't say they're not the worst, but Diamond has a lot of advantages that other companies that want to distribute comics, don't have. They control roughly 85% of the major publishers. And if you're not with Diamond, there's a good chance you're not going to be cared for anything. Then on top of that, with Diamond, they have Alliance, which used to be the Armory, but it became Alliance, which is their game distribution arm. So you got the situation that you got basically one company controls, the gaming and the comics. So it's like, if you're going to order, you can order through Diamond or Alliance, but it's really Diamond. So it's like, it's pretty impressive that this company has taken over the market and never, ever, 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 ever let go. They're not stupid. They knew where all the power was, and they took it. Now they got it. And here we are. So ICV2 was run by Milton. Milton was running Capital City. Milton, still a very informative guy, very, connected to the industry. Just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time and got smashed. Capital, I knew guys who used Capital when I was, see, another little shout out. Cave Comics of Newtown, Connecticut, back in the day. They're still there, of course. Cave Comics is still there. I started going to Cave Comics back in 1990. Was it 92 or 91? When I was coming home from college, I found this new comic book store. Originally, it was called the Bat Cave Comics. Yes. But they had to change the name due to DC coming at them saying, hey, you got to change the name. So they changed it to Cave Comics. The owner, Pat, is a huge Batman fan and a cool guy. And it's a place where I worked when I was in between college. And I guess, I worked there. And they helped me get my job working at Attic Books, which got me into, working for CVM. So it's definitely, a nice little cool piece out of my history. If you are ever in Connecticut and ever in down near that area near Danbury or Newtown, Connecticut, right with the Newtown shooter, same town. You can go in and you can check out what's going on there and see. And it is a great store. It is a fantastic store. You will see a lot of just amazing Batman art. And it is very Connecticut. If you don't know what that means, you've never been to Connecticut, I tell people, go to Connecticut, check it out, see what it's like. You will thoroughly enjoy it. Pat is a great guy. He loves comics. He loves retailing. And like I said, he's been doing it a very long time, and he knows it very, very well. So it's just a nice thing. So nice little sidetrack. You can check out his Facebook page. He has it there. Like I said, he's a good friend, and I'm very thankful that I spent many an hour at his store learning how to play Games Workshop and getting more and more comics. So a little shout out to him. So so back to ICV2. ICV2 is a great website that has a lot of information as a retailer, as a publisher. You can check it out, find it out, and find some good news. I think it's more focused for the retailer and the business guys, and it is there's some moments that are kind of promoting, but not in a bad way, but it's they're promoting this. I get it. No big deal. Scott Thorne does a column on this, I think it's a weekly column. Scott Thorne, if you're not familiar with him, owns Castle Peerless. Castle Peerless? Yeah, Castle Peerless. Castle Peerless Games in Carbondale, Illinois. He also has a PhD. It's Dr. Scott Thorne. And his is actually, he instructs in marketing at Southeast Missouri State University. See, now he's a consultant, but he's not, because even though he's consulting, which he probably could, he gives a lot of this information away for free. Every week you can read his thing. And this week, he's talking about, it says, Roll for Initiative. That's the name of the column. It says, I don't sell games. And now I'm even interested, ooh, he doesn't sell games, but he owns a game store. So what's he selling? This will be interesting. I'll have to read this later. I'm doing my video now. But you guys understand. So there's tons of information out there. There's tons of places to look. There's tons of just stuff to find. Also on ICV2, they have sales charts. They give you the top 300 comic books actual for July 2016. So you can find the data, look into it, dig deep. And this is cool. I mean, for example, Justice League #1 sold 209,000 copies. Justice League Rebirth sold 177. Batman 2 did 177. Civil War 3 did 176. And you get some real numbers. Now, for me, an old guy like me watching this going, oh my God, look at these numbers. I remember a time when back in the early 80s when Marvel used to release their every year how many books they sold actually in the comic books. They used to have to do that legally. I don't think they do that much anymore. I think they used to do it on the letters page. I don't even know if they do it anymore. But back in the day, Captain America sold 250,000 copies. Captain America, which is considered to be an okay seller, 250,000 copies. Jesus, that's crazy. And then, let's do some fun math here. I just realized something. Since we never really talk about this stuff, we always talk about money and what we're going to do. So let's take a little quick math here. 209.87. That's how many copies. Just almost 2010, but 209,000 copies at $2.99. So Justice League #1 generated for the 1 month of July generated $625,469.13. Except that it didn't. That's how much money generated at the back end. Now, this money was sold. That's what the customer paid. They got to divide it by 50% because that's what the retail store. So the retail store bought $312,000 worth of it. They doubled their money. So the distributor divided in half again, sold it for $156,367. Okay, still pretty good money. And then you realize that, oh yeah, the publisher, DC Comics, sold it to the distributor for $78,183.64. Plus some more, but it doesn't really matter. So for less than $80,000, that book was sold to distributors for. Now, on the top 10, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books. 8 books by DC, ranging the highest being the 209, and then number 10, which is Hal Jordan and Green Lantern Corps, sold 113,000. So you can figure out, roughly how much money they generate per month by using the simple formula of, divide it in half, divide it in half, divide it in half. And that'll get you down to the real, how much they're really making, which is kind of cool when you think about it in the whole scheme. So the Justice League 1 made them almost $80,000. How much did it cost to make that book? I don't know. They sell it for $2.99. I'm assuming the book didn't cost them that much. Let's say the book cost them 40 cents to make, and that includes all the printing and let's say it includes printing and the writing, the art. Let's say 50 cents. We'll go to 50 cents a book. I think that's extremely high, but 50 cents a book. That's still I told you I had to sneeze. That's still wow, kind of expensive. 50 cents a book. It's kind of, you have to make the books even cheaper. The printing has to be cheaper. It has to be cheaper because that's a $3.99 book. And let's not talk about Marvel. Marvel has $4.99 books. So, okay. Civil War 3, which is the highest ranked Marvel book for that month, number 4. They sold 176,000 copies, but they sold for $4.99 a piece. DC only sold for $2.99. $2 cheaper. $2 cheaper. How much money? More money than Marvel make? I don't want to do the math right now, but that's stuff you got to think about. So this is just fascinating stuff on ICV2 that you can check out. You can get information and see. No consultant necessary. Free information readily available. It's there for you if you want to do the research. That stuff is just available. Go to YouTube. If you're gonna go to YouTube, you're gonna look for anything. You know what I'm gonna tell you to look up first thing. Gary Vaynerchuk is the best person to get you inspired about. I'm actually definitely putting this one in because Gary is my guy. I listen and watch Gary Vaynerchuk almost every day. He has nothing but awesomeness to give you and put out and information you should know. If you are in the business or any business and not checking out Gary V, you're really missing out. You're missing out on just pure awesomeness. I keep saying it like that, but that's what it really is. It's just pure awesomeness about how good it is. So, it's just, it's amazing. It's amazing. Just good stuff. So yeah. So once again, don't hire yourself a consultant. Be your consultant. You be the hero of your store. You go out there, you hustle, you get your nose to the grindstone, you do what you got to do, make some money, and you'll be prouder for it. You'll be happier for it. It's going to save you in the long run. That's really important. So that's where I am today. I'm going to end this one a little early. Yes, I know it's 9:30. I usually don't stop this early, but we've had some crazy technical difficulties with the YouTube and Facebook's going okay, so we're getting that together. And I've gotten some good notes tonight, so you all will be enjoying some lovely notes from me later on. So, like I said, it's been a good day. So, once again, let me repeat again for Friday. Now, I know a lot of you are like, Friday, I'll be out doing something, Lewis. Yeah, I know. You might be out, you have a date, you might be doing something interesting. But if you're not on a date, you're not doing anything interesting, come by our YouTube. I'm going to have a page. Shut up, phone. I'm going to have a page set up. I'm going to try to get this thing up as soon as possible so we can have this information readily available. So you can come by Friday at 9 o'clock and watch what we're doing to do here. It is going to be awesome fun. I cannot wait to do it. I think Jim is going to be an excellent guest. I got some more research I got to read down here to get some more stuff I want to check with him. But I want to talk to him a lot of different stuff because Jim's been in business a while, and also with some of the more influential companies, including like Udon. And if you're like, what's Udon? Then not the noodle, but the group. I'm sure you're going to have fun stories and just amazing stuff. So I'm going to keep talking this up all week. That's what I'm going to be doing. So just get used to that. As always, thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. Oh, don't always forget. And number one, don't forget, go to YouTube, subscribe. We need subscriptions. Very important. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell people you don't like. Send them to YouTube, get a subscription. Very important. All right. Let me get out of here. I got to blow my nose and do some more work because I still am sick. But it's not killing me like it was this weekend and on Friday and Wednesday. But I'm going to survive this. So if you guys are surviving Gen Con's Con Cred, get as much emergency in your system as you can. Get as much oranges. Like I got my ton of oranges I'll be eating a little bit later to keep me healthy. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. And I will talk to you all later. See, I got to turn